Bloodbound, Part 2.
On later reflection, I was embarrassed by our first interaction. Not that most people wouldn't have been freaked out by seeing someone other than themselves in the mirror. Still, I never fancied myself as prone to hysterics. I'm surprised he didn't turn around and leave. I'm surprised how quickly I accepted the reality of the situation. Perhaps something more than us was at work. Sometimes I ask myself, do I really believe in fate? Can I really afford not to? I'm hallucinating. I'm having hallucinations due to stress. Get it together, Anana.
Anana.
Shut up, you! You don't even exist!
Wretched modernity. Makes this harder every generation.
Stress. It's stress. I haven't been eating or sleeping right. Maybe I should have ordered those pineapples on my pizza. Made it a more well-rounded meal. Oh, I'm losing it.
You know, Anana, you're allowed to have a nervous breakdown. You're certainly as entitled to one as the next person, given Nalani's passing and all, but can you have one at a later date? I'm a bit pressed for time.
Who are you, and how do you know about my mother's death?
I owned her, of course. And don't tell me you don't know who I am. You and your friend were just talking about me. You're holding my necklace.
That's just a story. It's not real.
If it's not real, how would I know about it?
Simple. You heard Layla and I talk about it. Now tell me who you are or I'll call the police.
And tell them what exactly? That a man came through your mirror? Besides, you and Layla only referenced the supposed powers of the necklace. You didn't say that it belonged to your ancestor, that she received it from a sorcerer, that she suffered from unrequited love.
You could be guessing.
Could I guess the price that casting a love spell cost her? That one of her descendants would always belong to him, until his death.
But he was immortal. You can't.
I know, magic isn't real. No one is immortal. Your mother said much the same thing.
Stop talking about my mother!
I apologize. I did not stop to think if it would be painful for you to hear me speak of her. Nalani was a fine woman. No doubt she is missed by all who knew her.
I don't need condolences from an evil sorcerer.
Again with the evil. Why does your family insist on dubbing me that?
Maybe it's the whole signing contracts in blood, demanding children as payment thing?
Descendant. A descendant, singular. Besides, there were extenuating circumstances.
Yeah, right. Look, let's say for one moment I believe you're real and all of this is happening and not just a product of my having a nervous breakdown. Why are you here?
Is asking obvious questions a family trademark?
If you are who you say you are, then you've known my family for generations. You tell me.
Touché. All right, fine. I'm here for my inheritance, so to speak.
Your inheritance? What do you mean?
Work it through. I'm sure it'll come to you. Think of the legend. If I'm the sorcerer, then I own Rise's descendants. I owned Nalani, who unfortunately has passed on. Therefore...
You couldn't have owned my mother.
I hate to disillusion you, but I most certainly did. I have a contract to prove it.
Signed in blood?
Oh, no, that went out with the Middle Ages, and I'm rather glad it did too. Messy way to formalise a contract.
You make a rather poor impression of an evil sorcerer, you know that?
What do you want? Thunder, lightning, vague threats of dire consequences if you defy my will?
It would seem more fitting. Growing up, I always imagined you as a dark, threatening presence.
If I was a dark, threatening presence, why would someone come to me for a love spell? Ever think of that?
I never really thought about it. The legend never really went into details about why she sought you out to help her.
She didn't have to seek me anywhere. She knew me.
You said a name earlier. Rise. Was that her name? My ancestor?
It was her daughter's name. The first to pay the price for her selfishness.
Selfishness?
Oh, what would you call it?
When we were kids, Layla called it cheating.
Cheating? Seems a light word to use when you're talking about forcing someone to love you, let alone selling your own future flesh and blood.
If you think it's so wrong, why did you do it?
Shall we get down to business then?
Business?
Don't tell me you haven't figured it out yet.
I do not belong to you or anyone.
I take it you aren't in love with anyone.
What business is it of yours?
It's beyond my power to change the terms of the original contract. I'm as bound to it as you and all your ancestors. But I did manage to make a small clause, I suppose you would call it, a few years afterwards. Should the party in question be in love and have their love freely returned, their contract becomes void.
Love and be loved in return. How simply you put it.
Unrequited love?
Something like that.
There is nothing like unrequited love. Have you told him?
You're pretty nosy, you know that?
You're not very forthcoming and I'm making up for it. If you haven't told him, then you can't be certain that he doesn't feel the same. That means you have a chance. Tell him, see how he responds. I'll give you a month. Then I will return. If you need me before then, simply hold the necklace and say my name.
I don't know your name.
Traum.
But I never planned to tell Forrest, because Layla loves him too.
What are you doing?
Why are you awake? Wolves are supposed to be nocturnal.
Couldn't sleep.
You can't ever sleep. And I'm not doing anything.
You're breaking the rules.
Nonsense. If I was, she'd be here already. I'm just bending them a little. I've done it before.
Nalani failed.
Riza didn't, nor most of her children.
Son did.
Poor Sonna. He kept trying.
You humans just don't know anything about romance.
I'm hardly in a position to argue with you.
No, you're not. Don't forget your appointment. She isn't her, Traum. Don't play the fool a second time.
You don't have to caution me. I've been careful.
You've been distant. It isn't the same thing.
There's another.
Exactly. That's why I'm warning you now.
You worry too much. You said it yourself. She isn't her.
That's the other reason I'm warning you.
Delivery.
That's my line.
Dinner first, then pack the truck?
Sure. Anana wouldn't come?
No, she wanted to stay there.
How's she doing? Really?
Better. But she's still hurting. She doesn't talk about it, but I can tell.
She can be such a stubborn cow sometimes.
Forrest! I know you're worried for her. I am too. But Anana is Anana. She does this sort of thing alone.
I know. I just hate feeling so useless.
You aren't. As long as she knows we're here for her, that's what counts.
It's still frustrating. Sometimes it feels like there are things she keeps, even from us.
Well, everyone has their secrets.
I guess.
You really care for her.
Well, yeah, she is one of my best friends.
Like me?
Yeah.
Let's concentrate on packing.